Well, last week I did super well with leg day. I managed 295 for a top set, all the way for 9 reps. Admittedly, it was belted, but I did very strongly with leg day last week. So that leaves the open question: how do you top a very good lift? And I think that's something that a lot of people are curious about, because if you're tracking your lifts and stuff, obviously when your good days were. You set a note like, I did crazy today, and then like it's really celebratory for that day. But then if you're a consistent lifter the next day, that's the most important thing, because the next time you do it, you're like, oh crap, I have to live up to the expectations of what was set before me. If I'm trying to get one more rep every single week, I'm gonna have to get one more rep of this really solid weight. And that's just the truth. I can't say that like, oh no, it doesn't have to be like that intense. I could try and say that. I can try and weave the argument that you don't always have to top like yourself every single week, which is true. You don't have to like always reach like past yourself. But like, let's be real, guys. In the lifters world, in our little world of weightlifting, of the one more rep mentality, if we don't hit that one more rep, it's just kind of like subtly disappointing. It's not soul crushing. We're going to get after it next week and probably get that one more rep the next week. But for that week, it's like this soul crush, like it's a high and a low. It's exactly what the gym is. It's highs and lows. So how do you quell those highs and lows? How do you, at least if you can't get one more rep today, match exactly that intensity that you had last week? And I think that's a very key thing, right? Because it has to be all the stuff you do before the gym. It has to be the way you eat. It has to be the way you sleep. It has to be the way that you kind of structure your life to make it, easy to get in and out of the gym. It has to be, what is set up for you that day. It has to be your mentality. Like, are you happy or are you sad before you go lift? And I think that's a great part of why I like lifting in the morning. It's just fresh emotions. It's pure fresh emotions. There's no like gigantic high pushing me forward, and there's no really sad low. If I had a bad day, the previous day doesn't really matter, because I wake up and it's a fresh start. And so that's one of the great things about morning lifting, that like I know night lifting, you're a little extra carved up, you have a little extra stuff pushing you forward, especially if you had a good day, you've got some good stuff pushing you forward. But in terms of like having a fresh start for everything, that mentality can only be found directly through like a morning lift. So for this leg day, having a fresh start is very important. I've had some of what I've talked about pushing me forward. I can't say I've had the greatest sleep. There's been like time changes and stuff. I've had a lot of classwork that I've had to stay up slightly later doing, but that's only like losing an hour, maybe hour and a half tops of like total sleep time. So enough to kind of push me through like a crazy leg day, but still needs to be accounted for. So squat is going to be moving pretty well today. I've got a lot of stuff lined up, so I'm going to try to talk less throughout it and try to like really dig deep more and showcase the reps, and kind of talk in between my reps about like what I want to improve, and just, I don't know, bring that same level of intensity, but like try to have like average rest periods, try not to like tax myself supremely. And I've got kind of like, I can't really like show it, but like these big green baggy sweatpants on, and I think what I'm gonna do before I go crazy with legs is strip those off, just have shorts, and yeah, just kind of go insane for legs. Okay, not going super crazy for the warm up. Just got 2 plates, working on that for 10 reps. It's kind of what I managed last time. I don't think really changing that would change a whole lot. I think I still will get relatively good breathing on this. I think still relatively good depth, especially compared to like, a 295 for last time. It's not like this is going to be light, especially first like movement of the morning, but 225 is something I've been able to manage for a while. It's just the process of like getting my joints warm that, a set of this is better for than anything. So I'll need to see if I need to move my hood up or not while I'm doing this, based on if it kind of crowds my neck or not. But yeah, nothing crazy for this. Okay, I wish I had the depth on because I wish I had the camera zoomed way out because my depth was way below on that one. Okay, so 250 is what's loaded up on the bar now. Added 25 more pounds split between each side of the bar. I think maybe the main objective for this is it's not really a warm-up. It is a working set, but it's only 9 reps, so we're eliminating one of the reps. I think the goal with this is just to hit, not below parallel, but just like perfect good parallel reps. Focus on the explosiveness moving up, so that explosiveness moving up will be a little bit easier when it comes time for like 275 and eventually 295. Finishing that out on the road to a consistent 3 plates with good depth, because I'm not doing 3 plates before I have like really good depth on everything. So yeah, let's see what 250's singing to us. Okay, could have done a little bit better breathing that time, but that was a lot more controlled set. Ever since I've gotten my middle part, it feels like anytime I wear a hat, anytime I wear a hood, the bangs of my old haircut are kind of gone, so it makes me look bald. It kind of feels weird seeing a bald version of myself. It's like, because if you've had like bangs your entire life, you kind of grow to appreciate the bangs. But now the middle part, it's good because there's not as much oil on my forehead. I'm not getting as much acne as I had when I had more bangs, and I don't know, I feel like it's a little cooler of a haircut, like temperature wise it gets me a little less hot. But I don't know, there's upsides and downsides. The downside is I don't look as good with like stuff covering my head, but the upside is I never looked good with hats or like hoods or beanies a lot in the first place. They're just mainly there for if I have a rough hair day, I'm just going to throw it on. I'm not going to care about my hair, but that's besides the point. We have 275 loaded up right now, looking pretty good against this bar. I kind of have the camera panned out more so I can show you guys the depth I'm getting, be a little bit more critical with the depth. You can berate me in the comments by how terrible my depth is if I can't really get it on this time. But 8 solid reps, that's what we're going for with this. Take deep breaths in, try to match exactly what I did last time. Not good death. Okay, I won't lie, the depth was lacking on some of those reps, but the weight was moving. I can at least say complete 8 reps. So the gym is pretty busy today, which is always a good thing to see. Lots of people excited Monday morning to get a lift in. It's always good progress. I like seeing a packed out gym, especially in the mornings. Like, it takes a lot for people to get up, especially when it's getting colder. Like, 7 in the morning. But some people, maybe they're like winter arc, new me, that kind of thing. Because like New Year's, obviously you all know about like New Year's resolution type of lifters, but you know, when the seasons change, you'll see a lot more people come out too. Because, you know, I talked about seasons in another video about like when the new seasons pop up, people like really idolize that for themselves. Like, oh, a new season's popping up. That means it's like, it's me time, it's go time, based on whatever their favorite season, maybe whatever the attraction might be. But people are always looking for a fresh start, always looking for a reset to be able to come to the gym. And I like when people take that excuse and then they actually show up. Like a packed out gym like this, that's something you can only talk about from showing up. So proud of all these people, proud of myself for getting up like this. So we got to make it count for 295. 295, I managed for 9 last time. Now I'm just going unbelted for failure. Last time I was belted, really had to dig deep for those reps. This time, I don't know. We'll have to see how unbelted does it, but I'm going to try to max out 9 reps. Might only get 8, might go forward to 10. I'm just going to go for failure set, failure set. All right, let's go, guys. Okay, 4 reps unbelted. Tried to push up from the bottom of those reps. Wasn't looking hot, but you know, still pretty good. Well, while I still have the bar down here, I couldn't get everything I wanted for squats, but I'm going to go ahead and move RDLs since the gym is busy and I want to secure a spot for being able to do RDLs before I lose this rack. So what I've got going for first is, actually what I got going throughout the entire thing is 240. Up from 235, just added a 2.5 to each side to even things out a little bit. Add 5 more extra pounds to everything. Wrap the grip good, and then just go for 8 continuous reps all the way. So RDLs are nothing to sneeze at, but I'm managing RDLs pretty effectively as of late. So it's just wrapping the grip good and then just getting deep. Alright, happy with that. Those are actually really good reps. Okay, a good hamstring stretch that first set. I think you just want to continue basically the same. I was really focusing last time on trying to drop the weight at the exact same time. So sometimes when you hear that clang of the weights, you can hear the plates hitting at different times. And that means you're uneven to a very, very small degree. Like you might hear da-ding, and that just means that like maybe the right plate clicked before the left plate, so your left is just a little bit higher. I want to lower it at the exact same pace for both of them, have complete control of either side. So I'm really going to focus on like good breathing as always, but really trying to lower it at the same time and hear just a dual clank of like tink, and it's just both of them. And that's like really satisfying when that happens because you know you're doing what you're supposed to do. Okay, most of that was the same dropping. First
First rep, maybe not the same, but everything else pretty solid. Not gonna lie, the hoodie might have to come off after this set because gosh, it is getting hot in here. It is getting blistering for some reason. I mean, they have the fans turned on. Maybe it's just the influx of people in here that's making everything a little bit toasty. But I've got one more set of these, one more set of RDLs to squeeze out here. And then we'll move on to some seated movements, some movements where it's not going to be so much focused on like random free weight barbell movements. It'll be just purely focused on what's going on in terms of I don't know. I'm losing brain power as we speak. Okay, good work on those RDLs. My hamstrings are definitely feeling it. Had to take a slightly longer than normal rest period, get a bunch of water flowing through my system. Stuff wasn't exactly feeling right in terms of like, I don't know, I guess I was just dehydrated. I guess the main point was just like, I didn't have enough water flowing through my system because a lot of water, I'll like pee it out, but I needed to make sure I wasn't like dehydrated completely, like fully all the way. But for this set of hip abductors, it's pretty simple. I've got 145 loaded up. I've been working on trying to train my hips to get used to that level of strain. I'm gonna try to work things out, 10 full and complete reps, as wide as I can possibly go to start here, and then push from as wide as a start as I possibly can go. So with this, I'm gonna go, I don't know, 10 full reps, maybe try to get it like here, all the way out here. I know that doesn't really show up on camera the best, but doing the best as I possibly can. So let's see it. Two more. Okay, good work with that one. I'm actually really happy with how wide I got with this one. Now, it's just getting a pretty wide start from all the way out here. Trying to make sure don't injure my inner hips on a Monday. That would suck, injuring for the rest of the workouts. Okay, pretty solid with that actually. Pretty solid first set. Continuing that for the other sets is definitely going to be a workout. Okay, so a little bit of opening up needed. I think with kind of a not super stretched out squat, it kind of leaves room for debate on whether, like, you know, needing to do this first is necessary. Because I used to do this before I did squat to open up my hips, get them ready for like the strain of squat, get them ready to pressurize against my quads, pushing against them to kind of like prepare everything to move for squat. Maybe that doesn't make a bunch of sense, but basically I was priming my quads to carry squat weight. But I noticed that I would get a lot more fatigued with this, and then when I went into squat, like, this didn't really matter that much. If I was already pre-fatiguing myself with this, it was to my detriment for squat. So doing it afterwards is just a way to, like, after my hips are already warm, kind of like get them even a little bit more like stretched. Now that they're warm, let's apply them a little bit. Let's shape them. Sort of like, shaping hot glass. Once it's a little bit warm, you can shape it to do a whole bunch of things. When it's cold, it's going to be static. When I went into these cold, first set, yeah, it might have been stretching a little bit, but it was just heating up something that I wasn't like making malleable. I wasn't improving anything with my hips. It was just something I was doing to get them like ready. But it was fatiguing the rest of my legs, kind of trying to work this before I worked anything else. So I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but basically in my plan and the way that it fit best for me, I felt like warming up with hip abduction just wasn't the way. And diving straight into compound lift squat, it takes a lot of air out of you. You need to get that out of the way first before you do any other movements on machines or anything else. So second set of this, trying to go pretty hard with this as well, trying to get 10 full reps. Okay, this left one is not sure what to make of reps like that. Whew, it gets a little tight. Okay, go on the outside like this, stretch it a little bit further, and get ready to push together. Jesus, getting a little bit fatigued. Tilted in just slightly. Okay, scrappy reps. My legs are getting a little bit tired today. Maybe I needed a carved up leg day because this is kind of embarrassing. But in my eyes, even if it is embarrassing, you have to take the good with the bad. You have to be able to say, okay, it's not my best work, but you have to be able to showcase it still. I'm not going to be super happy with failing out on squats like I did. I'm not going to be super happy with failing out on hip abduction and adduction, but it's something that I got to take. It's something that I got to swallow because in my eyes, in my discipline with the gym, there is no ego. There is no sense of like, I need to get more or I need to show off because this channel is made to show off the good and the bad. I get, I'm human. I get embarrassed. I get upset. I get envious. I get wanting of these other like strength goals that others have that I can't achieve. But the real truth is, bodybuilding is not about the sense of ego. It's not about this fight. It's not about this need to be better than others. It's about a need to just become better with yourself. It's so individual. Like, obviously there's competitions you can go to with other people. Obviously you can make it competitive. You can get a gym bro. You can grow together. You can make it this new thing. It doesn't have to be individual. But in the most sense, lifting on your own, it's purely individual. You don't need to chase like this ultimate goal. You don't need to chase this ultimate like unachievable goal of being stronger than everyone else because it's just not going to happen. Even with steroids, it's not going to happen. It's a mix of like perfect genetics, steroids, hard work, sacrificing everything in your life. Like the strongest person in the world, that's all they're going to think about. That is all their purpose is going to be, is the gym. But as well-rounded individuals, as well-rounded, you as a well-rounded person, not everything is defined by this. Not everything is defined by getting good depth and 10 complete reps on abduction and adduction. It just isn't. Well-rounded for you is doing good in school, being a good like child to your parents, being a good provider for your children if you're at that stage in your life, being, a good partner to your spouse, being a good partner to your relationship, being a good partner to your friends, being like anything else that you can find meaning in. Like, life doesn't just have to have one meaning. It can have multiple. It can have ones that are stronger than others, but it doesn't have to be black and white. You can be more than whatever you are in like one moment of failure. 10 good reps, made it up, made it look a lot better that third set than it did the second one. So the good thing about leg extension is that when squat doesn't look like the best, you can actually kind of like ameliorate that with how your leg extension looks. This is way out there. There we go. You can actually kind of like gauge based on like if you fail one place, you can push hard the other. So with quads, I'm working the peaks of quads with leg extension, and that's pretty similar to what a squat might do. It's pretty similar to how like the purpose of squats, you know? Push this down here so it's a little bit further down. Yeah, so like with leg extension, because squat didn't look like perfect, now with leg extension I can really focus on like extending all the way high, extending, you know, having slow descent, all these little cues that make like quad growth a lot more dominant with this. When I go heavy on squat and tire out my quads a bunch, I can't get as controlled of a leg extension. But now, with a little bit extra left, even with a good failure set of 295 for 4 unbelted, that's not as much, you know, endurance loss compared to 295 for 9 belted. You know, I'm still trying to grow. I'm still trying to reach a point where have complete control. But with this, I can like get closer to that goal by just having a little bit more slow descent. So 12 reps of 170, same as last time, managing it for 3 reps, just focusing, honing that control. Okay, good reps of that. Pretty happy with that actually. Get a bit closer of an angle here to really see the strain on my quads. I felt like maybe there was less control than I thought there was going to be for first set. So second set, I'm going to try to rest my back against the pad a lot more. Try to dig deeper a little bit with breathing and like push out a little stronger. I don't know if it's just like kind of crappy advice like work harder, push stronger, but that is really what I need for this. I really just need to like mentally be focused on this a lot more and just like think about it a lot more, not just go through the motions of the lift. Like I'm getting tired with leg day, and so sometimes it's like going through the motions, you know. Sometimes it's just like hitting the quota because I've still got calves and more hamstrings to push out. But like I said, I've got a lot more to give with quads, so why not really feel it out? Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not getting to the top as much, but the strain, that's where growth happens. Okay, one more. Just like last time, focusing on the control. You're not gonna get as high as you want. You're not gonna get complete lockout the way you want, but you're gonna get growth. You're gonna get stretch in these quads, and that's something that like can't be matched in a lot of ways. When you're bodybuilding, that's all you're chasing. The pump, the stretch, anything to get these muscles like bulging out, because once they're bulging out, they're gonna be like, look at this. Look at me like bending down, and you can see already like this bump up here, stretching all the way out. These like other parts of the quad bumping out. This part down here going around, like all the different quad things working together for that pump so that they're gonna be growing. Once I get a, you know, breakfast, throwing a banana in there, get some food flowing through my system, we're going to be building and repairing muscle. We're going to be building and repairing proteins, protein synthesis, all that good stuff, all the sciencey terms. They're going to be working very, very hard. One more. And that's it. That's about all I can do of like a strain that's not ego lifting it up. Okay, gotta say, I'm getting very, very tired. And, you know, there's a sense of like, oh, you're feeling tired, you're feeling sick. Like, maybe there's like maybe you can end things a little early. But you know what's really motivating me more than anything? What's motivating me more than anything is all these people in the gym. I don't know where these people came from, but like, I've never seen so many college students up and at them for a lift. And I'm just thinking, like, if all these people are out here Monday morning, they're not stopping, they're keeping going, how could I stop? How could I give up that easy? And the answer is I'm not going to give up that easy. I'm not going to let this go to nothing. So, hamstrings are next. I thought about having calves next. I'm going to do something a little bit different from calves. Very much so focus on the stretch and not really focus on going super heavy with calves today. Just focus on good growth, good endurance in my calves. But for hamstrings, it's a little bit heavier. I've been managing 150 pounds for a little while, which is a full stack for this hamstring curl, which means that, it's a little bit different now. Game has changed. It's the same thing with hip abductors, where it's, just managing that weight as effectively as possible. So I've been doing 150 for a little while. That means that I've got to work with 155 now if I'm going up. So that's what I'm doing. I want to hit it for 12 reps. I'm going to see how deep I can get this. And I don't know. I felt like 150's been going good with these for a little while, so I don't see anything going wrong with 155. But obviously, today has been a lot of me talking and failing to deliver on promises. So I've really got to let the weight talk more than anything, because maybe it's the weather change. But there's something. There's some mental block. There's some physical block that's causing me a bit of fatigue. So, a bit of unexpected fatigue, let's say that. Because sometimes I know when the fatigue's coming on. Sometimes I know it's just like, oh, I'm tired from the workout. Today, it's been hitting me in a way that I've not foreseen. Okay, that's 10 right there. There's 12. All right, very, very heavy. That's a new strain. I've not felt that before, but that was awesome. Okay, so that first set is pretty surprising, the level of strain. I've had a lot of camera shots focused on the muscles before, but like here, you can really see the hamstring tendons, or I guess, like, hamstring has a bunch of different muscles protruding from it, so you can see a lot of different, like, hamstring, I guess it's just muscles. I'm trying to find, like, good descriptive words, but I can't really find anything super satisfying. But 155 for 12 more. That was a new level of strain. It was surprising, but it honestly was exhilarating. So I'm excited to test that again. Okay, that was 7. 5 more. Okay, nope, that's where we stopped. Right there at 10. Technically it was like a half rep, but stopping right there at 10 reps for that. Okay, one more set of these. 10 is what I was able to manage last time. I want to get 10 again. I mean, obviously, you would think if I went 12 first and then 10 second that, oh, you're going to bump down to 8 or something. No, I want to finish out 10. Even if it's going to be really hard, even if I need paused reps, I feel like 10 is a great stopping point. Going below that, it's kind of far off. If I'm trying to do an exercise for 12 and I'm bumping down to 8, well, then I don't really need to be at 155. I need to bump down to a lot more sets of 150. But the reality is, I need that progressive overload. I need a little bit pushing ahead. So, like, if I'm pushing ahead and this bar is my baseline, if 150 is right here, my baseline's ahead of me, and then I just push a little bit past my baseline, I'm obviously not going to feel it as much when it comes, like, I'm not going to get as many reps when it comes to, like, my baseline of 12. I'm going to, like, be failing a little bit. If I bump back down to 8, well, then that's going to move me just, like, back below baseline. If I get 10, maybe I'll be at baseline, but, like, I'm trying to keep, like, roughly equivalent volume-wise, because I need a good amount of volume pushing in order to hit that progressive overload. If you're doing more weight, but you're doing a lot less like stuff total, then it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it for the progressive overload. You might as well overload with more reps rather than more weight, and then bumping down less reps, because that's just counterintuitive. Come on, one more. There we go. That's a solid 10 reps. That's pretty solid. All right. Calf raises is going to be a lot different. It's not going to be in the gym. I'm going to figure out something in the dorm, but you know, something different. You guys will like it. So I've already showcased what a weird workout could look like with my wizard workout. If you haven't seen that video, I think it was my video about oneness with lifting. If you go back and watch that, I don't know. I don't know if I'll remember to link it or not, but check that out if you want to. I worked out with freaking wizards for Halloween, which was crazy. But for this one, you've never seen a weirder workout than dogs on the toolbox. How is that a workout, you say? How is putting your feet and doing something on a toolbox a workout? Let me show you. I don't have another surface to put my feet on to make it raised that is stable enough to hold my body weight. Even the toolbox isn't super stable enough to hold my body weight. If I do it on a chair, if I do it on a bed frame, it's too small. My bed frame is like a couple of teeny tiny links. I can wrap my toes around it. It's too thin. If I do something on like the cans of green beans I have, they're gonna pop. Like a can of green beans cannot support my body weight. What can support my body weight lightly? A toolbox. So a raised surface, it really is anything that you can find. And calf raises, you know, the only reason I'm doing it raised is because the decline is more important on growth on calf raises. I think that's been proven in the science-based lifting community, but we're not talking about science-based lifting. We're talking about lifting in general. In my experience, raising to the very top, there's not like a whole bunch of stretch. You can't feel it a lot in your calves, but when you dig deep, oh man, you can feel that stretching throughout your calves. It's not even a placebo effect. It's something I knew before, like all these science bros were like, yeah, you gotta focus on the decline. I already knew that the very bottom, if you had things raised, like that felt a lot better than working at the top. Because even if you have your tippy toe at the very top, you're not gonna feel the same level of stretch you do on decline. So what I'm doing today is just body weight. Just body weight decline calf raises. You can do this with any surface that'll support your body weight, but you need a little bit of a raised surface. So once you balance yourself on that, you can go down. Oh, shoot. Look at me, my name's Miles. I had a whole speech about all this stuff and then it failed. That was stupid. Okay, I'm gonna try to balance myself a little bit better on it this time and hopefully not fall. And if not, well then I've done a stupid way of doing calf raises. Whoa, almost fell off of that. Okay, I'm at 20 reps now. 21. Okay, that's a lot better. I need to get my feet a little bit more on it. So I wasn't crazy. You can do it on a toolbox. Okay, I know it's probably like a weirdo setup. A weirdo setup seeing like, you know, the dorm being set up with a freaking toolbox for like movements, but you know, I'm trying to figure out more ways that I can demonstrate to you what it means to kind of have an at-home workout, because there's stuff you can do without a whole bunch of equipment. Obviously, I can't do weighted stuff. I can't do a weighted 12 solidly putting a bunch of pressure on my calves, but if you really want to grow like calf endurance and stuff, and you don't really have a gym pass or anything,
plenty of body weight movements you can do for stuff with calves. It straight up just lifts. I mean, even if you don't have a platform, you might not get as deep of a stretch without a decline, but you can just up, down. Do like 100 up downs every morning for 3 months. Your calves are gonna be crazy huge comparatively. If you start from nothing, especially newbie gains will take you much farther than you could ever like anticipate. So yeah, just trying to find at-home remedies. This literally says 118 home piece, 118 piece home toolkit. So it literally is a home product, doing home workouts on a home product. That's pretty powerful. 1, 2. Whoa. You do risk falling a bit, so just be careful. 10, 11. All right, 25 solid reps, burning calves. Trying to burn some endurance into it, but not go too far because I've had calf days where I've done a bunch of reps and I haven't been able to walk afterwards. Oh no! Okay, one more set. One more final set. It's definitely been like cool down type of sets leading out of a leg day. Earlier when I took that long break, I was feeling sick. No lie. I was feeling freaking sick and tired of just like, not sick and tired. I guess sick and tired. I didn't have any carbs in my system. I didn't have any water. I didn't have anything pushing me. So I got like freaking queasy. I passed out 3 times in my life. I don't know if I've said that on this channel before. I passed out 3 times and I felt exactly how I thought, I felt exactly how it felt passing out those other 3 times right after squat. When I hit, I need to go back and watch the footage and see how deep I got. See if I'm literally whining about really crappy reps, but besides the point, after whatever rep I left on that last set, I got up and I was like, geez, that was a lot. And then I felt all this stuff rush to my head and I like almost fell over. Like you've seen those videos of people squatting and then they fail and then they get up and then they're like, whoa. And then like I've seen one where a dude hits his head on the rack before because he passes out. That's scary. So like, I don't know what type of muscle memory activated, but I was like kind of falling and then I grabbed the tripod. I was right next to the camera. I grabbed the tripod and like stabilized myself and caught myself and I was like, like I was breathing all heavy. I was going crazy. There's some friends in the gym coming up like, hey Miles, how are you doing? And I'm like, like literally about to die type of like reps, which you don't really want to get to that point. I'm pushing myself like really, really hard, which is great. It's great to push yourself hard, but to the point of like almost collapsing, we're not going for that. Like some people are like, yeah, squat till you bleed. No, don't squat till you're spitting blood. It's not what I kind of preach on this channel. Definitely not. But like I almost did pass out, so I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm being dramatic. But in general, I was feeling a lot. So I went down and just laid down on like a random like plush bench right outside the gym, just like, oh my God, like got a ton of water flowing through my system, did everything to like recover. And I was able to get back locked in. I took things kind of slow, but like intense first half of the movement. And now I'm just kind of doing some body weight stuff because I don't want to go crazy, especially with like a barbell type of thing. Even though Smith machine is an adjusted barbell, I don't want to go crazy. So that's kind of my recap of what happened with squat. But yeah, one more set of this, and then I'll kind of break it down and end this video out. Whoa, lost my balance on that 14th one. Lost on the 15th, Jesus. Okay, restart that. 15.
16, 17. Lost something? Okay, I'm gonna count this out. Keep myself accountable. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Whew. Okay. Hot calves. Frickin' dialed in. Those are really, really good calf raises. But yeah, I guess my ending statement for this workout completely is I'm already in the dorm, so I can already kind of like kickstart the car talk. Push yourself within your limits. Push yourself within your boundaries. Because like I said earlier when I was talking about matching my performance on the other day, pretty sure I was carved up, pretty sure that was a night lift, but I was all in sweats, first leg day with long sleeves, first leg day coming out of the cold. I don't think it's winter arc or whatever people call it yet, but I was in complete good mindset. I had belted reps. I had a lot of things assisting me and pushing me forward. Today, I didn't have everything assisting me. I didn't have flawless mindset. I wasn't raring to go for legs. I was just like, all right, let's get this leg day in. I wasn't fully locked in with belted reps. I wasn't like, I was really trying to get deep form, but I wasn't like giving myself any assistance. I wasn't giving myself, you know, any mental aptitude. I wasn't, you know, going, I don't know, there's just a lot of things like weather change. You could blame it on so many different things, but no matter what excuse I say, the point is today, I didn't match up to the caliber of what last workout was. And like I talked about earlier, it doesn't have to always be that way. We want it to always be that way, right? Earlier I was saying like, we want it to be the same. That's where I'm going in, the goal is. But like a lot of times we can't get the same. And yeah, it is disappointing. It is the human reaction to be like, it's not the same. It's not it. But like I went through an entire workout. I went and hit every single thing. It may not have been as heavy as last time. It may not have been like as impressive as last time, but we got deep form. We got good growth. We did all the things that is, you know, helping bodybuilding. All this stretch, all this like muscle movement, it's powerful, it's potent, it's what we need. It's what you need, is that mindset of just like, we gotta go through it. If I got sick, if I threw up, if I passed out, yeah, I wouldn't have continued the workout because that's dumb. You don't continue, you don't push past that. That's not growth. You push past in a way that can get you through everything, to keep that consistency. Pushing past, like, if I did the same way that I did last time, I probably would not get great reps. I probably would get reps that would make me want to pass out again. I adjusted and I kept going and I pushed past to achieve. And that's what you need to do too. You just need to keep that progress going and you need to not beat up on yourself. You need to take that break if you need to. You need to say, all right, it really is disappointing that I can't get, you know, what I got last time, but there's always the time after that. And there's always, if the gym closes, if you're not feeling like a heavy day, you can do toolbox reps. That is a really stupid thing to say, but you can do toolbox reps. They're always there in your back corner. Subscribe, don't subscribe, I don't care. If you have a toolbox, I better see a video of you on Instagram tagging me doing toolbox reps. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.